Welcome to ABC Campus. Today we have a very interesting query to discuss the circumstances in which land is depreciated. So the exact query is that my student sent this message to us that my concept was that land is not depreciated whatsoever. But there are many questions on your channel in which leasehold land has been depreciated. Can you please guide? Yes, obviously we can guide. And the main issue is that, yes, mostly land is not depreciated because it has indefinite, unlimited useful life. So we would answer this query in the light of IS 16, which provides with the concept that why we do not charge on a depreciation on land most of the time, and what are the exceptions. IS 16 in fact indicates the both side of the story. So the common myth is that land is never depreciated, but it is not true. Yes, mostly it is not depreciated, but there are few circumstances in which it is depreciated. So let's start our response to this. First thing is that with few exceptions, land usually has unlimited useful life, and therefore it is not depreciated according to IS 16 para 58. And example of this would be a freehold land owned by an entity. That entity owns this and there is no limit to its life whatsoever, so there is no need to depreciate it. And in fact, even if we want to depreciate it, we cannot, because by definition the depreciation is systematic allocation of depreciable amount of an asset over its useful life, and when there is no specific useful life, we cannot systematically allocate the amount or cost or depreciable amount to that period, because there is no specified period at all. Now, standard says with few exceptions. Now, what are those exceptions? Those few exceptions include quarries and landfill sites, etc. And this is mentioned in I-16 paragraph 58. So let's take an example of query. Let's say a granite stone quarry land site license to extract the granite stone restrict that the stone can be extracted for maximum 8 years. So there is a life 8 years. You can take the benefit from that land for 8 years only. So there is a limit on that life, and now that quarry site, the land site, should be depreciated over that 8 years life, or the shorter period if the entity intends to use the site for shorter period. Similarly, a landfill site. Landfill sites are basically sites where garbage or other waste is dumped by many industrial and manufacturing entities. So a landfill site has a specified capacity. You cannot dump everything forever there. There is a limited space. That space would end someday, sooner or later. So a landfill site and entity expects, based on its expert's opinion, that with the dump that the entity is filling in there, in 5 years, for example, entity expect that the site will be filled. So the life of that land, that site, is 5 years, and if you acquired that land for rupees 5 million, you have to depreciate it over 5 years. So let's say if you use straight line method, that would be 1 million depreciation every year. And not only this, specifically I-16 para 59 says that in some cases the land itself may have a limited useful life, in which case it is depreciated in a manner that reflects the benefit to be derived from it. So in a manner basically connects to the depreciation method, that if you derive equal benefits, you should charge straight line depreciation, you should use straight line depreciation method. Or if you feel that over the period the benefit would decline, then a reducing balance method might be more suitable. So, but there is specific reference in I-16 that says that land may be of limited useful life, and in that case it is depreciated. So the example of it is a very simple example of it is a leasehold land. So if you have a land that is not freehold land, it is leasehold land, and it is, for example, lease of 25 years or whatever period as mentioned in the contract with the lessor. For example, from cantonment board here in Pakistan, we often see that cantonment board gives properties land on lease for specified period, 25 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and so on. So there is a life of it, and the amount that you paid for that site should be depreciated over the lease term. That is, in fact, the limited useful life of that land or property. So these are main circumstances, and actually, it clarifies the concept that yes, mostly land is not depreciated because mostly we have entities have freehold land, but there are possibilities, there are possible circumstances in which we will have to depreciate the land because it has limited useful life. So that's all for today. Have a good day.